Hi guys! So our biome presentation is about mangrove swamps. This is done by Pratik and I. And throughout our presentation, we're going to be talking about certain facts, characteristics, and details about mangrove swamps. Let's begin with asking ourselves the big question: what are mangrove swamps? Now, before we go into the specifics, let's ask ourselves what are swamps in general? Now, most of us may know what it is. Most of us may have been to swamps, but some of us may not know. So, for those of you who don't know what swamps are, basically swamps are part of a wetland ecosystem. So now let's go into the specifics. Mangrove swamps are easily recognized habitats along tropical and subtropical coastlines. Where on earth are mangrove swamps located at? So if you take a look at this picture here, the middle section highlighted pink is where mangrove swamps are located at like in our planet. So geographically, mangrove swamps are 25 degrees north and 25 degrees south latitudes. This area is also known as the mid-latitude area. Interestingly, there's 39.3 million acres of mangrove swampland on planet Earth, which is really, really huge. Mangrove swamps are also like a source of biological productivity in terms of fisheries, aquaculture, and forestry. You guys are probably wondering what it would be like to be at a mangrove swamp, like what the weather is. Is it cold? Is it hot? Now, the climate in this area of the world varies from day to day, but on a yearly average, it's 22 degrees Celsius, and for those of you who do Fahrenheit, it's 72 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's considerably warm and sunny, and indeed, there's high solar radiation, and the annual rainfall rate is between 1,000 and 1,500 millimeters per year. These are two pictures of what mangrove swamps may look like. Myanmar is my country. It's located in Southeast Asia, and there are indeed mangrove swamps in my country near this really famous river called the Irrawaddy. Interestingly and unfortunately, according to research, mangrove swamps are disappearing in my country due to human activities, which will later on be discussed in this presentation, and other factors that influence the environment. And this is the flag of Myanmar. We have India. Okay, so there are a number of mangrove swamps in India, but we chose the Sundarbans. It's a mangrove swamp which is located in the area near like Bangladesh. The floral diversity of mangroves in India is great, and this particular swamp is really big because it's nearly 6,000 square kilometers. Now let's take a look at like what kind of life forms live in mangrove swamps. The biodiversity in mangrove swamps, like it's really huge. There are a lot of plants, there are a lot of animals, there's amphibians, there are reptiles. Here are some animals that you can find in mangroves. We have turtles, we have alligators, we have birds, we have geckos, we have crabs, we have insects. Now, mangrove community is composed of plant species whose special adaptations allow them to survive conditions imposed by the coastal environment. So the mangrove flora of the world is represented by about 65 species. So most of the plants that you can find in mangrove swamps are really peculiar and special. You don't see them on like a day-to-day basis. So here are some examples of some plant species that you can find in mangrove swamps. We have Rhizophora apiculata, we have Sonaratia alba, we have Avicennia marina, and there are several more. So I'm gonna play a short video focusing on the existence of this special bird known as ibis in mangrove swamps. Now, and this video will have like a better effect on your visual insight into mangrove swamps. Um, Please bear with me that the video quality may not be the best due to software difficulties.
Scarlet.
Now we're going to talk about net primary productivity in mangrove swamps. So before we go into specifics, let's have a recap on NPP. NPP is the rate at which all the plants in an ecosystem produce net useful chemical energy, and it can be calculated by subtracting respiration from GPP. This is like an overall world representation of NPP rates. So this is the scale, and there are different color coordinates, sorry, and each color coordinate aligns with different preset values. So generally, swamps and marshes like have the highest primary production of all the world's ecosystem. This is like the unit of NPP for Sundarbans. So like we narrowed our research down into one specific mangrove. So Sundarbans is like the mangrove swamp that can be found in India, like we talked about earlier, and it has 426 units of NPP, which is considerably large. Mangrove ecosystems play an important ecological role along tropical and subtropical coastlines, contributing to primary productivity of the coastal zone and indirectly increasing secondary productivity of nearby coastal waters. So, additionally, there are like many primary producers that are very dominant in mangrove swamps because like there are several plant species that can be found in mangrove swamps. So, like in general, the openness of a wetland to hydrological fluxes is probably one of the most important determinants of primary productivity. This is more of like a scientific insight into why NPP is relatively high in mangrove swamps. Moving on to soil. Now, soil in mangrove swamps are they're generally good. They're muddy and they have like special features that could protect against erosion, hurricanes, and different pollutants. Mangroves stabilize coastal intertidal soils, preventing coastal erosion. Now we're going to talk about global warming and its impact. Now, global warming is a substantial impact. It impacts mangrove swamps and habitats in a negative way. Rising sea levels and changing salinity pose the most serious threats. So, global warming is a threat to all life forms that live in mangrove swamps, including all the plant species and all the animal species. Now, how do our actions relate to global warming, or how do our actions relate to destruction of mangrove swamps? Now, as human beings, we do a lot of things for our own benefits, but we do the habitats and the life forms in mangrove swamps have to pay the price for it. For instance, we destroy mangrove swamps for urbanization purposes to build buildings, offices, and infrastructure, and so we also destroy mangrove swamps for agriculture purposes, and we also destroy mangrove swamps, cutting down their trees for timber or wood and natural resources. So, as human beings, we should take responsibility for our actions and construct new ways where we can help the mangrove swamps instead of like threatening habitats and the life forms. This brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for all your attention. We constructed 3 questions for the IB styled quiz based on our biome. So the first question is to discuss the different ways of human activities that impact global warming, which threatens mangrove swamps. Second question is to outline 4 characteristics of mangrove swamps. The third question is to suggest 2 ways in which we could decrease negative global warming impact in mangrove swamps. Thank you so much.